Ooh.
You're listening to the Pillaging Podcast, companion podcast to PillagingJustForFun.com, the only Raider fan site made by Raider fans for Raider fans. Tune in every Tuesday on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher Radio. Also follow us on Twitter at PillageJustForFun. That's at PillageJust4Fun. I'm your host, Kenny Stapler, joined every week by my co-host, Raider Kane. It's time to pillage another podcast. What's good, Kane? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, Kenny. I'm feeling real good. 12-4, you know. We overachieved, and I'm excited right now for the offseason, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, I'm in the same position. I don't really have any other choice. The season came to an end on Christmas Eve, in my opinion. We held out hope. You and I did. The rest of Raider Nation did. But we just didn't have the firepower behind Derek Carr to get the job done. That being said, you got to be proud of what this team accomplished. You said it yourself. We overachieved. I had us at 11-5, and making the playoffs as a wild card, and maybe not winning a game in the playoffs. And that's basically what happened to us. The disappointing part is at the end of the season there, we look like we could have been 12-4, 13-3 with a first round bye. But you got to take it for what it is, and you got to look forward to the future, and the future's bright. Before we get too far ahead in the future, though, let's talk about this last game. It was our first playoff game in 14 years, so we'd be remiss if we didn't even speak on it. So I'll give you some of these numbers, and I want to get your reaction. I want to get your takes. I told you last week that Connor Cook was going to turn the ball over. I told you guys that, and he did. He had 1 touchdown to 3 interceptions. I also told you that the defense would need to even that out if we were going to win the game. They didn't. I also told you that if we ran the ball effectively, we'd be in a position to win this game. We didn't. We ran the ball 21 times for 64 yards. Granted, we got down early. I think it was 20-7 for a long time. I also told you if the defense showed up to play, that we would win. They did kind of. Again, not generating any turnovers. And they did contain Osweiler, which is great because he usually has his biggest games against us. But he was 14-25 for only 168 yards. And a big part of that is because they ran the ball well. They ran the ball for 44 times for 123 yards. So the defense did play well against the run, but it was spotty. They gave up the big play at times. And anytime you run the ball 44 yards, you're going to get significant yardage. It's just going to happen, especially at home. So, I mean, really all the keys that we gave you last week that we asked the team to meet, they really didn't meet. And the outcome was 27-14 Houston. Connor Cook didn't look sharp all day. Let me get your reaction. How did you feel coming out of this game? What did you see from Connor Cook and the rest of the team? What was your thoughts on the defense, so on and so forth?
Well, first of all, the team did show up this week, and I was excited about that for the most part. The defense did, in my opinion, the defense held us in the game as long as they possibly could with the offense not making many plays. I mean, and you can't expect much from Connor Cook. My thing is the offensive line and the running game, trash. You didn't show up. I mean, you played a game. The offensive line I don't know what happened to him. Was it the loss of Donald Penn? Was it the loss of Derek Carr? I don't know. But the offensive line has not played the same in the last 2 weeks that they played in the weeks prior to that.
Well, you know, you had our perennial trash can player out there all game. You had Austin Howard in at right tackle, and, you know, Howard just can't cut it. Watson did what he could do on the left side.
Ooh, my goodness.
And he didn't do a great job all day.
This dude.
But Austin Howard's trash.
No, Austin Howard didn't show up. No, Austin Howard did not show up. I mean, the whole offensive line is trash. And we'll get to that in that segment. But listen, Austin Howard didn't show up. Kelechi Osemele didn't show up. And for you to tweet out that you was on the AP All-Pro offensive line, you know, that was great. You know, but did you show up when your team needed you to show up? You know, did you show up when your leader wasn't there? You see, in the battlefield, when the leader goes down, usually the rest of the players step up in place of their leader to try to show that we're not the only reason we're here. But this team regressed. what I saw from this team was I saw that when the quarterback went down, the whole team went down with him, including the coaches. Jack Del Rio didn't look the same. I mean, Jack Del Rio looked like he was about to die from cancer at the end of this season. I don't understand what happened. You know what I'm saying? This whole ship sank with Derek Carr. That's what I saw on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm not really going to disagree with you there. And since you bring it up, actually, hold on. I got this. I got this big ass garbage truck. I got to back up right now. Hold on, pulling it in. That's it. You know that sound? It's time for the trash can player of the week, Kane.
Back it up, baby. Back him up. Let's back him on in. Make sure you angle him right to the dumpster.
All right, let's. Who you throwing in the garbage this week?
I'm throwing the offensive line, Michael Crabtree, Amari Cooper, and the offensive line. You're trash, and you should be ashamed of yourself. You show up for Derek Carr, but you can't show up because you are an all-pro, Pro Bowl playing offense. You can only show up because your quarterback's trash, baby. Trash. Disappointment. Ooh, it stinks. Get it out of here. Trash.
Yeah, I ain't got much more to say about that. You stole my guys. I was going to say Crabtree and Cooper. Amari Cooper, where you at, man? Where you been? I know you're not a decoy this year. You had that last year. You guys are double teaming you. I don't know that, no excuse, man. You're a phenom. You need to get some more looks. And maybe that's the QB, but I doubt it because you just fell off a cliff at some point this season. I still got you, but I want to see a full 16 plus games out of you next year. And Crabtree, man, I hate to say that this is just a case of the chickens coming home to roost, but when you were in San Francisco, the knock on you is you couldn't catch balls in big moments. And man, you look like you were playing way above that ceiling last year and for a good half of this year, and then just fell off a damn cliff into a garbage can.
Trash.
That's where you end your season, Michael Crabtree, in the trash can.
Dumpster.
But I'm looking at you to come back next year strong, but I don't know what's going on. You look like the prototype receiver for the first, 6 games of the season, maybe 8 games of the season. Fell off a damn cliff. Offensive line, I still got to give props to Hudson out there battling, Gabe Jackson battling, KL battling. The middle of that line played pretty well this Saturday, but Austin Howard and Watson, tackle position, definitely got to be addressed in the offseason. Donald Penn, I feel really bad, man. 144 straight games and you couldn't make one more. I can't put that on you. If you're hurt, you must be hurt. For you to miss a game, that's a big deal. And I trust your judgment. I trust the training staff's judgment. But we need to get you some depth, Penn. You're the homie. And Watson and Howard. Watson, I got love for you. Howard, man, I lost a lot of love for you this year. I really did. I think you got to be maybe gone next year or competing hard for a spot as a backup on this football team.
I don't know, bro. I gotta kind of, give Watson a little bit of a pass, sort of kind of like we have to give to Cook because Watson's been hurt, albeit it's been for 3 years. He has been hurt.
Yeah.
So they haven't been able to kind of get this guy into the system enough to just shift him to left tackle like that. I think he was just kind of thrown in the fray like Connor Cook. Right tackle, he's awesome. He's an awesome right tackle. And I believe that in this league, he can be a left tackle too. But I believe that he has to have the reps and practice just like Connor Cook. So if we're going to overlook Connor Cook's play, then I think we should also give Menelik Watson a somewhat of a pass. He could have played a little bit better, but you going against Clowney, playoffs, first time starting at left tackle.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of instances that you could take a look at and say, hey, we got to get this man a pass. I believe that the Raiders going to re-sign him, and I believe he is a left tackle of the future if we don't draft one. I believe it's time to slide this guy over, and maybe we should just let him take the reps from now on and in OTAs and in training camp and so on and so forth, and give him an opportunity to be a left tackle.
Yeah, that's going to be a big spot moving forward, and I think we can get some depth there in the draft. There's definitely a lot of meat in the draft coming out. Yeah, I'll go easy on Watson. Again, you said it, playing out of position against possibly the best defensive line in the NFL right now. He showed up on Saturday. He did fairly well. He did what he could. But Howard, you're a liability, bro. So before we get out of here, before we go to break, I should say, I got one more segment. Well, I'm getting way ahead of myself because we didn't even mention who the real MVP was.
The MVP for who?
Who's the MVP in this game, Kane? Can you find one?
The MVP for who?
For the Oakland Raiders.
For the Oakland Raiders? or for the Houston Texans? I guess if I got to name an MVP, it's going to be Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack showed up. And you know what? Since we started this podcast, Khalil Mack has pretty much been my MVP. MVP. We done got 10 weeks of excellent play out this guy.
You the real MVP.
Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack is the only player that showed up. Khalil Mack is the only player that showed up.
I'm gonna go Andre Holmes for bailing out the young quarterback time after time in this game. He had 4 catches for 50 yards. Not stellar, but and I know this is a reach. I'm aware of that. Khalil Mack's a solid pick. I'm going to give the second ball to Holmes, kind of an honorable mention. It was good to see you. You were Carr's favorite target when he first came here, and I really like Andre Holmes. I think he's a big target, not the fastest guy, not the best route runner, but damn it if he's not there catching a ball when you least expect it. And it was good to see him return in this playoff game and get himself a couple catches for, who knows, might be his last game of his career. Maybe he's back in the silver and black next year. I don't know.
You're the real MVP.
It was good to see him again. So, but anyways, before we move on to the break, we got one more little segment here. So look, the season's over. We already kind of said how we feel about it. We said it this week. We said it, I think, a little bit last week. So let me just throw a question out there for you. We're headed into the off season. We'll be talking about this more when we start again, when we go forward here in the off season. But just for now, one question. You're the GM. It's Kane McKenzie. And it's Reggie McKenzie. And you could change one thing on this roster and or staff. One thing. What do you change?
Defensive tackle. Mario Edwards Jr. hasn't showed up. Jihad Ward, you haven't showed up. So if I had to change one thing on this defensive staff, it would be defensive tackle, because we need to push up the middle first. And I know a lot of you would say middle linebacker, but Perry Riley Jr. wasn't doing that good. I think we hurt more up the middle on the front. So if we had Mario Edwards Jr., if he was there and was healthy all season, we might have had a different outcome. So right now I'm going to say we need to push up the middle. So the answer to that question is defensive tackle.
All right. I like that. I like that answer. D tackle. And if I had to go with something to complement that, I would go outside linebacker, a coverage guy that can just man up on tight ends all day. And I'd like to see 2 or 3 picks. I really would, out of that outside linebacker spot next season. Getting those underneath passes. I really think we need a roamer that can take the middle of the field. Perry Riley's good. He can, dictate the linebacking assignments. He's pretty solid there in the middle. He's just that well-rounded dude. But we need a playmaker in that core. And I'm not saying Riley has to go, but an outside linebacker that can cover tight ends, I'd really like that. I think our defense takes a huge leap forward, especially when paired with a defensive tackle that can rush the quarterback. So, next question before we get out of here to the break. 2016 draft class was a boom, a bust, or meh, average?
I'm going to say it was a bust. So far, I'm going to say, and a lot of y'all is going to disagree with me with this, but Carl Joseph has played well. He has been probably your best secondary player. But with that being said, he's had a problem covering tight ends. And the object of this whole thing is to win your division. So you need to start looking at the tight ends in your division when you draft in a strong safety. And I don't think they projected having to guard Travis Kelce, having to guard, San Diego's Antonio Gates, and the new guy, I think Jesse Harris is his name or whatever. I'm not sure, but they got 2 tight ends in San Diego, one in Kansas City. Denver, you lucky you ain't got a tight end. But my whole thing is when you drafting a strong safety, you need to be thinking about the tight ends in your division. And I'm not sure Reggie McKenzie thought too well about the height and size of Carl Joseph, the power and the pack that he brings. Awesome. But when it comes to guarding tight ends, I mean, he got burned a couple times in this game this past Saturday. That ain't got nothing to do with Derek Carr not being on the field, by the way. So, there and there's a couple. You want me to just give them all to you? Because I will. But the one most glaring position would be strong safety. I like Carl Joseph, but I don't like his size against the tight ends in our division.
I'm going to go ahead and disagree with you and say that Carl Joseph plays bigger than his size. I think on Saturday he was playing injured. I think he played out of necessity. I don't think he goes if Nate Allen is healthy. I think that with a full offseason, Carl Joseph, from what we saw this year, because we both agreed he was making strides every single week. He wasn't making the same mistake twice often. And I think with a full offseason, you coach this kid up. I think he learns a lot this year. I think he comes back and he takes a pretty big jump forward next year. I also don't completely disagree with your criticisms on him. I think that that's still all very valid until we see him play a full season and stay healthy. So that's pretty much a question mark right now. So I can't disagree with you, because when you take a first round pick, the last thing you really want around them is question marks. And he had one before he even stepped on the field, being drafted as an injured player. And also with the draft history there of DJ Hayden coming before him, being drafted injured, it puts a lot of pressure on him to perform coming off of injury. And that's not his fault, but that's what it is, and that's the situation, and that's how we're calling it. So there's no apologies there. I would go ahead and say that this draft class is average, maybe a few ticks below average. I didn't like the Connor Cook pick. I especially don't like it now. We'll see if that changes in the future. I'm open-minded. Hopefully this kid grows. It's only his first year. He's put in a tough spot. You know me, I'm a big Carl Joseph fan. I think he will pan out, and I'm excited about him. But one pick doesn't make a draft, and I do think he was a reach in the first round, despite the fact I'm excited that he's on this team. But Jihad Ward, I don't think he's going to turn into a great player. I think at most he's going to be like a good player, like a regular dude. I don't think he's going to be terrible, but I don't think his ceiling's that high. Shalik Calhoun, I don't think he's going to be in the league for like much longer than a couple more years.
That dude embarrassed me, man. And I put him out there on the blog. Yeah, we'll see. This draft wasn't good. This wasn't a Reggie McKenzie stellar draft. We'll see what he does this season.
But we're forgetting we got, Jihad Ward was undrafted. We did get DeAndre Washington. I think he's good. Ward or
Jalen Richard.
Jalen Richard. What did I say? Jihad Ward? Oh my God. Shoot me now.
Hey, his name need to be called more, because it wasn't called a lot at this season at all. So just thank God you called it on accident. It should be called more on purpose.
So I think Richard is a bonus, even though he didn't come in the draft, and DeAndre Washington I think will be good. I was really high on him coming into the season, but I think Richard just stole the spotlight. I think with a little bit of more momentum and a little bit more reps, we see more out of Washington. So I think that there were some real busts in this draft, but I also kind of think it evens out and comes in a few ticks below average. So I think overall this draft unsuccessful, a lot of reaches. It seemed a little bit experimental, and it kind of makes me uneasy going into this offseason, considering I think we have the 24th pick. So there's going to be no slam dunks coming our way, and I think we're really going to see what McKenzie's made out of in this draft. If he can get crafty and do something, kudos to him. If not, well, it's going to be very lackluster, to say the least. So, anyways, let's get out of here. Let's go to break. We're in here for some callers, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the rest of the NFL and the playoff matchups going forward, and we're going to give some shout-outs this week. So we'll catch you guys on the other side. You're listening to the Pillaging Podcast, companion podcast to PillagingJustForFun.com, the only Raider fan site made by Raider fans for Raider fans. featuring fan-submitted articles and the most lively Raider Nation conversation on the internet. Follow us on Twitter at Pillage Just for Fun. That's at Pillage Just the number 4 Fun. Also, tune in every Tuesday on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher Radio.
What's up, Kenny? 303 Raider. Season came to a crashing halt. I'll tell you what, I'm still very thankful for this season. It was a special season with all the comeback. Finally, our team playing like a real football team, making the playoffs. We'll be fine. This is a very important offseason for Reggie McKenzie and Jack. Need to get that defense fixed. I believe too many drop passes again plagued us all season long. We need another receiver, a good receiver, to push Krabs and Cooper. Tight end. Still need to fix that D-line, middle linebacker. I like number 41. He played some good defense. But anyways, Kenny, we'll be back next year. Go Raiders. Let's do this.
Hello, Raider Nation. This is Arc Raider checking in. Quick shout out to Kenny, Kane, Sixes, and all the guys writing our post. Best Raider website by far. Keep up the good work, guys. And having said that, it was a disappointing end to a great season, but we have no reason to hang our heads. This is going to be a great off season, and I feel confident for a change that we will come back stronger than ever. Peace out, Raiders.
Hey guys, this is DJ Johnny. Just a big salute to you guys for putting the blog together and having an option to the other place. It's been excellent and really happy that it's there, and appreciate all the hard work keeping it up and all that. So definitely kudos to you guys. I assume this is kind of like a wrap up for the season. This is where I'm at right now mentally about the whole thing. I do believe that we do need to make a change with the defensive coordinator with Norton. I think there's a great article I posted up there, was from Just Blog Baby. I don't know if Nick something wrote it, but it really outlined all the reasons why, and the regression from last year. I know we had more turnovers. The defense forced some turnovers, but just everything. I mean, the lack of a pass rush. I mean, that was one of the big things, preseason they were saying. Watch out for the pass rush, Irvin and Khalil Mack and all that. And then we're last in the entire league in sacks. And I know hurries and hits account for something, but nothing substitutes for actual sacks. And there's no pressure from the interior. I do like the way that, Del Rio has addressed that after the season. But at any rate, I do believe that a change there is needed with Norton. If we could get Wade Phillips, that would be tremendous, and that would be a huge boost for the off season, and definitely getting ready for the next season. So I really hope that happens. If Phillips isn't available, I'm sure there's some other candidates available. I mean, in the first place, we kind of settled for Norton anyway. So I think an upgrade there is really important. That's the one coaching move I'd have to say. And I don't think anybody's going to accuse us of being dysfunctional or look at the Raiders, look, they're firing coaches again. Nobody's going to care. And I don't think it will reflect or affect any free agents or anything like that. Maybe positively affect free agents, possibly. So anyway, I think it was overall a great year. I don't feel as bad. I felt much worse about other regular season losses than I did about this Houston one. Maybe because my expectations were so low. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, if any team has an excuse for not, making it to the big game, it's us.
All right, we're back. I told you guys we'd be talking playoff matchups. Unfortunately, Oakland's not in any of them, but we're going to talk about them anyways. So I see two clear favorites in the AFC this weekend. We have New England, or I should say Houston, facing off against New England in Foxborough, and we have Pittsburgh against Kansas City. I believe that game's in Kansas City in Arrowhead Stadium. I like Pittsburgh and I like New England this week a lot. I think that Houston, though they have the number one defense, I think playing in Foxborough is a whole different situation. And of course, the Patriots have that playoff pedigree. You gave Belichick a whole 2 weeks to prepare for you. I don't expect that game to be close. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be fairly hands down Patriots in that matchup. And the KC-Pittsburgh game, I like that matchup. I honestly would have liked to see Pittsburgh and New England and Houston and KC, just because I think Houston and KC match up better as far as like watchability and like a good close game. But I think Pittsburgh's hot at the right time. I think they have more weapons than Kansas City. We know the Chiefs are a good football team. They've lucked their way into a lot of wins this year, however. And I see Pittsburgh as the type of team that imposes their will on you. You're not going to get lucky and beat the Steelers. So that's who I like this year, or I should say this week. And that would set up a New England-Pittsburgh championship game, which is pretty exciting. And I'll just say it now. I'm going to say it again the next few weeks. Nobody wants to see the Patriots in the Super Bowl except for Patriots fans. But that's the way it's setting up. And who knows? I think Pittsburgh actually can beat them. So that's the AFC. Who do you like this weekend? What are your picks this weekend, Kane?
I'm going to have to go with Pittsburgh over KC and Texans over New England. And you want me to tell you why I'm gonna take the Texans?
Yeah, tell me.
Because why did you beat why did you beat us?
Well, the pass rush is just incredible.
No. Why did you win a game because you just wanted to win a game, or you win a game because you wanted to go all the way? Because I tell you what, with our leader, we would have beat New England. So I'm gonna have to say, if the Texans beat us, then you need to beat New England. I'm gonna take Pittsburgh over Kansas City. The running game is too strong for Kansas City, and they can play in the cold weather. They're a cold weather team. Ben Roethlisberger is a cold weather quarterback, and you can't stop Le'Veon Bell. Antonio Brown, the triple Bs. Come on, man.
And Big Ben left in a walking boot, but that guy's pretty tough. I fully expect him to play next week.
And you know what? I fully expect him to play too, and I fully expect him to turn around and hand that ball off to Le'Veon Bell and have to make a play. Listen, Kansas City is not that good. Kansas City doesn't score a lot of points. They beat us. So they look good to Raider fans, but to the rest of America, they just an average team that's just they had luck in their division that they could beat the Raiders twice.
Bro, they're sitting in our spot right now. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So I mean,
so I look for Pittsburgh to run the ball about 30 times that game or more. And win that pretty handedly. It's going to be a grinder game, but I think if you watch it for 4 quarters, I expect Pittsburgh to be in the driver's seat. The score may not show it, but they're going to win that game. Then again, they could light you up too. So there's that. Just across the way in the NFC, who we really haven't talked about all season because it's not really on our radar, but it is now. So it's Green Bay versus Dallas, which is an incredible playoff game. That could have been an NFC championship game. I would have loved to see the Cowboys Raiders as well. I think the rest of the country would have loved to see that. So Green Bay, Dallas. Dallas being a young team, Green Bay kind of limped along this year, but you know what? They got in the playoffs, and you saw what Aaron Rodgers can do last year. He's got like 4 Hail Mary touchdowns in 2 years. The guy's just a different animal in the postseason. They did lose to Dallas earlier this year. It was, I think, 26-24. And it was actually, no, sorry. It was 30-16. It was not a close game at all. 30-16, but they were on the road. I believe this time. No, sorry. Green Bay lost at home. I'm all mixed up. They're going on the road against Dallas. So that's an interesting game. That's a tough one to call, but I'm actually going to call Green Bay there just because of the Packer pedigree. And then the other game is the Seahawks Falcons. You got like some new blood in the NFL there. with the Falcons. Older players, but a new surge, I should say. And Seattle Seahawks with their recent playoff pedigree. That looks to be a good matchup too. But they're playing in Atlanta. I like Atlanta in Atlanta. I don't like Seattle on the road every week. Yeah, Falcons dropped 3 games at home this year, but I really think they just have more weapons on offense. I think that Atlanta could beat Seattle. I would like to see that. It would be a different look. That'd be great, I think, for the NFL. Matt Ryan's looked great all season. I think he deserves something like this. Let's see if they can earn it, though, this weekend. Who do you like in these games?
Well, in the Atlanta-Seattle game, I'm going to have to say these two teams know each other, with Darrell Bevel connection to Seattle. So I'm going to have to say Seattle is going to have the upper hand in the big boy. They're going to have a big boy hand in this one. Even though they on the road in Atlanta, it's indoors. There's not much of a weather factor. So, to me, indoors makes an equal game. So I'm going to have to say equal field position, equal fielding. I'm going to have to say Seattle in that one. And then in Green Bay.
So I was mixed up earlier. They actually played earlier in the year too, and that score was 26-24. Atlanta lost that game by just 2 points.
Yeah, so these teams know each other. Basically, that's just what you just echoed my sentiment. These two teams know each other. It could be a close game, but I'm gonna take Seattle with the playoff experience, the playoff pedigree. We all know Seattle is primed, pumped, even without Earl Thomas and without Tyler Lockett. I think they can beat Atlanta. I do, and I'm taking Seattle. And in the Green Bay Dallas game, I'm gonna say Green Bay is going Aaron Rodgers against Dak Prescott and Zeke Elliott. I think Aaron Rodgers wins that every day and all day and 6 times on Sunday. I don't think Dak Prescott and Zeke Elliott are ready to be in a position to where they can win a game against a prime Aaron Rodgers. And this Green Bay team is fuming right now. I mean, these dudes is on fire right now. Aaron Rodgers, ever since he made that prediction that we're going to win all the way out, that's going to have to tell you something. I can't count my man Aaron Rodgers out, man.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard to hate on Aaron Rodgers. My dad is actually from Wisconsin, and before he moved out to Oakland in '76, he was a diehard Packer fan. So it's not hard for me as a Raider fan to root for Green Bay a little bit. They're over there in the NFC. They don't really, I'd like to see a Packers-Raiders Super Bowl. That would be really cool. I think that was actually Super Bowl 4, and we lost that Super Bowl. Maybe 2. I don't know. Somebody correct me on the
4.
blog, but it was one of them early
4.
ones. 4? Yeah, Super Bowl 4. So, I like Green Bay and I like Pittsburgh and I like Seattle, I like Atlanta and I like who did I say? Green Bay. And you're taking Green Bay and you're taking Seattle. And so we'll come back next week and we'll see how that shakes out and see who is right, who is wrong. I don't know. Maybe we can bet like a case of beer or something.
There you go.
What do you say?
There you go. A case of beer sounds good. I know you got some good Gilroy IPA down there for me or something.
I'll lace you up with something. I got some homemade barbecue sauce for you too that I need to get to you.
Oh man, I'm waiting on some of that, man. I could have used that yesterday on some barbecue, on some pork spare ribs I was cooking yesterday, bro.
It's spicy. It's spicy stuff. That's the end of the regular season. Or actually of our NFL season proper. It's not the end of the podcast season. We're going to keep this moving. We got guests that are going to come at you in the off season. We're going to try to do some different things with this. We're not going to die out. We're just going to shift gears. Before we get out of here, though, I wanted to take this moment now at the end of the season and just give some shout outs to everybody out there. I wanted to say shout out to everyone on the blog, first of all. Without the blog, the community that we have that's, over 7 years old now, meetups, cross-country people flying out, coming to tailgates, coming to games, meeting at bars, having each other over at homes, to launching our own website and eventually this podcast. You guys out there are the real MVP. I also want to give a very special thank you to Silver and Black 666. He plays a big role behind the scenes of this. And if you didn't know it, that's actually his music on the outro. That's mine on the intro, though. That's another story. But Sixes, man, you're the man. And I wanted to say thank you officially on the podcast. If you want to hear more of his music, you can go to cosmicdanceband.com. They got a lot of good music for you guys to listen to there. If you like classic rock, Bay Area rock, that's the spot you need to hit up. And I just want to say thanks to all the new listeners that we've picked up that have been tuning in too. And one last special shout out from me to all the personal people in my life that have been really supportive of this. My lady, my lady Sophia, my partner Paul, my partner in music. He's we're in the studio constantly, and this takes away time from that. But regardless, he's been very supportive. Of course, my father, the rest of my family, my homie David out there, big Raiders fan, true Raiders fan, and we're gonna get you on here soon someday. And the rest of you, if I didn't mention you, it's just thank you. This has been just phenomenal. It's been immense. Kane, is there anybody you want to say thank you to?
Basically, man, I just want to give a shout out to you, my brother, and this is real talk too, for you for taking over. We had I don't know, for those of you that don't blog with us, I don't think you know this, but there was a article site called IBABuzz, Inside Bay Area Buzz, and it was run by some local writers. And, that blog was something that we met a lot of people. People come from all over to read articles and they comment on it, and so that thing been around since, I want to say, it's a legend. Urban legend says it's been around since whatever, but I'm going to say at least since 2004, 5. But I think it was before that. But anyway, at least since then, it's been around. And there's been a lot of people on that blog. So this year in 2016, I believe it was in, I want to say September, October 2016, they decided they wanted to shut that thing down or integrate it, not shut it down, but integrate it with, because it was all Raiders. So they integrated it with the rest of the Bay Area. And so, all the comment people, I want to say it's probably like 300 people, constantly, or maybe 100 solid people, but that kept the thing going. We started to notice, me being one of those people, and also Kenny being another one of those people, we start to notice less articles. They just kind of ignored us. So they switched it over. Make a long story short, the site left, it basically abandoned everybody that's been on that thing for over 10 years. And so in comes Kenny Stapler, with Pillaging Just for Fun. This guy put this site together. He put fan articles together. He brought that community from that site to this site and gave it a new home with content and the same thing, but it's run by fans. The articles are by fans. This podcast are by two guys who are just average, everyday Raider fans. So I got to give a shout out to you for that, bro. That's you the man. 2016.
It's all love, bro.
You the man. You know what I'm saying? You changed the community in that whole website and kept it going. And now that site, and just on a small note, that site wishes they never would have lost that traffic, because that traffic is gone now. So
amen.
That was a good thing. And then otherwise, yeah, everybody on the blog, Sixes, for helping out, with the music, bro. I love the song. Nola Rick, you know what I'm saying? Thanks for having me out there in New Orleans, bro. I appreciate you taking around and, you know what I'm saying, doing your thing out there, man. You know what I'm saying? And everybody that came out to the tailgate that I met, you know what I'm saying? Off the top of my head, Raider Brand, 303, N1, Oak Raiders, Plunk Hall of Fame, Purvis, all Dutch, my boy, you sit right next to me. I got to give y'all props, man. Everybody, I love y'all. We'll see y'all next season, but we're going to keep it going. And y'all still tune in weekly because we still got this shit rocking, man.
There it is. Raider Kane, your 2016 Raider podcast co-host of the year. You're the man, Kane. You bring us all together. If you
the man, bro. You the man, bro. Without you, this shit ain't possible, baby. 2016.
Hey, we them boys.
Happy New Year. Raiders.
And that's it for this week's show. Yo, tune in every week on Tuesday via iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher Radio. Also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at @PillagingJustForFun. Hit us up on the phone line, 408-909-PJFF. Leave us a message. We'll play you every single week. I'm Kenny Stapler, joined every week by my co-host,
Raider Kane.
And we out here. Peace. Go Raiders.
We out here, baby. Raiders.